what's good about it is I can log into it. Now you're hardwired.
Yeah, it just went live. Hardwired.
Well, there's something on the wireless then that's causing that. That's okay. I can fix that too.
Well, honestly, we will never go live on the wireless. That will never be a thing ever.
Right. I just wanted to make sure that this was working today with New Switch.
Got it. Yeah.
So it appears that it's working really good. As soon as you plugged into the wire, it worked.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to do it today, but I'm going to start getting it ready. What Brian and I talked about doing is I'm going to have we're going to try to run a wire directly into that room and the other room and come off a separate interface of the firewall just for those two rooms.
Okay.
But I want to talk to you while we're there, and while Brian's there too. The way I look at it is the way you're booking your business and the way y'all operate. So that room that you're in right now, the other one that Doc works in, y'all could essentially have two different events going on at the same time in either one of those rooms, right?
Usually it's the same. More than likely it would be the same event in both of the rooms. Very rarely if it'll be two separate events.
Okay. So then both of those rooms could run off the same interface.
Switch.
Or I guess a better question would be, is there anything inside of that room that the two rooms need to communicate as far as equipment wise?
No, not necessarily. We're not taking anything from that room. We just use that room because it's a larger space and people can go in with their laptop and just be able to connect hardline into the computer, and we can put 2 or 3 people in there.
Okay.
And that's the only reason why we use that room. It's never bringing from that edit system into this room here.
Okay, so if I was to take that room and the room you're in right now and put them on their own separate network, so that they couldn't see each other or communicate with each other, would that be a problem?
Shouldn't be. It's not, because we're not doing anything with that now.
Okay. Because what I would like to do is kind of isolate that area down there as far as functions go. So the 3 other edit rooms that are down there in the hallway, how do they operate? It's kind of the same way, independently of each other?
Yeah, everything works independently. Like if we have something going on, we usually bring the machines into this room to integrate into the system to send it where it needs to go.
Okay.
And so anything from any other edit bay, we export that bad boy and bring it in here via flash drive, thumb drive, external hard drive, and we control it in here. We don't control. Okay. And so the other rooms are just, again, another rooms for people to sit and get onto maybe a Zoom or just have a space for people to be in the building.
Okay. Well, the good part about it is once we start segmenting things off, so this tells me this works good, but I would really like what I could do. I'm trying to eliminate some of the hardware throughout the building, and we can look at this down the road.
Okay.
But what I can do is, because the switch downstairs and the switch upstairs all operate on a big ring, then I can VLAN that traffic out, and I can put you on your own separate interface to get you right out the door. Okay.
Let me ask you a question about this feed right here. Can you see the upload and the download speeds for this?
On the switch?
On the switch or the device, either or. Just because as I'm sitting here looking at it, the picture is going from like low res to high res back to low res to high res. And it may be the camera that I'm using, because I'm just using the webcam on the computer.
Right.
But that's probably the only thing that I see is going on. Excuse me, for this bad boy right here.
But what I'm looking at right now and what port are you plugged into on that firewall?
This one, 2. Number 2.
Wait, no, I'm sorry. No, 3. My bad.
Is it number 2 or number 3?
It's number 3.
I'm
Sorry. It was in the shadow.
So I'm saying, yeah, there's.
It could just be Joe Dell's or zooming on Joe Dell.
Hold on 1 second. Say it again, D.
Yeah, I'm looking at the stats on that port. Your utilization on this thing is not hardly anything.
Okay, so probably what it is the playback. It has to refresh sometimes because we're in the YouTube studio or whatever, and that's probably what's going on. No big deal.
Yeah.
And I can
So it's not flooding the port. I mean, it's reasonable.
Okay, great. That's good to know because usually when I stream out, I try to use a Mac anyway because it has better processing than the Windows do.
Yeah.
If I go in this way, but again, since we won't be going in this way, going into a computer and just using the actual Zoom function to get the Zoom,
right,
get to YouTube, then we're solid as a rock. Where is the dashboard?
Okay, so what we're gonna do, like you can put that switch anywhere you want. So down the road, this event's over, and I'm gonna start getting this ready. I'm gonna take room and the other room and put them on their own separate VLAN.
Okay.
And then from there, we're going to take them and give them their own interface off firewall, and it'll just be straight out the door. And that way, if you do have some customers that need to get into some equipment or into something in that room, it'll be a little bit. It'll be isolated so that if we have to do that, your equipment in that room is the only thing affected.
Okay.
And like we talked the other day, I'm trying to departmentalize it so that if something was to go wrong, it's not going to affect some other projects that may be going on in the building.
Now, let me ask you this question. With the devices, can you hear me or is it too loud?
No, it's good.
Okay. So we only have 2 computers in this room that stays in this room that's connected to a port now. This is a port that we only use for streaming that we're connected to right now.
Okay.
But the other 2 are on a whole nother jack somewhere in the room. I just know that. And could that stay the same or would that have to be on this? Does it matter?
Well, what we're going to do is that equipment, if it's got a 10.10.2 address, then that's going to be that 10.10.2 is the downstairs VLAN, and I'm going to keep that VLAN, and that's going to be the VLAN only for where your office cubes are at.
Cool, got it.
And this will be a whole separate network, but it'll be right out the door.
That's cool.
No filtering, nothing.
Good to go.
And I'll do the same thing in that other room where Doc's at, and in those other 3 bay areas. I can either make them their own, or I can group them all 3 together and send them out the door. Or we can put them in like the bowling alley space out there, because I'm going to take all those ports out there. I'm going to put them in their own separate VLAN, and they're just going to go right out the door.
Okay.
And then we can take all of that. We can take that limit learning thing on it, so you'll be able to plug in any switch anywhere you want to. Now, you guys are the only one doing it anyway.
Yeah.
But the good part about it is, if I do the bowling alley separate from everything else, if somebody comes in there and creates a loop or whatever, plugs it in wrong, it's only going to affect things in the bowling alley. It won't affect this room, the other room, or anything else in the network.
That'll be good, because where the old HR office is, we turned that into a podcast room, and that's going to have to go straight out the door too. So we can definitely put that on one of the networks and just do whatever we need to do. So we can get with Doc and with Ricky. We'll just sit down, write it out, make sure we're good with it, and then you can do your thing. Yeah,
and we'll start doing that after this event.
Yeah,
and those 2 switches, they're keep them in the room. Now they have a 10.10.2 address now.
Okay,
but when we change the rooms, will change that as well, so that you can log into those switches as well and see if there's anything going on there. They're pretty easy to work with. It's pretty self-explanatory. I'm not going to put a password on them because they're going to be right there in that room, and they're going to be able to look at and troubleshoot. And you guys need to be able to see that to isolate things down.
Now, when it comes to this switch, do I need to turn it on, turn it off, leave it on?
Nope. You just leave it on.
Cool. Sounds good. Which means
And
I probably
it's straight out the door. It's nothing fancy. So when
Yeah.
you turn it off, the config's going to come back the same way it was shut down. So it'll have that same IP address on it. That's why we put the labels on it. And when we put it into the new network, we'll relabel it as well, so you can jump into it anytime you need to.
cool. Yeah, we'll probably find a rack for it somewhere and just mount it, and it'll be just where it's supposed to be, and
Now,
be good to go.
What we could also do
Uh-huh.
is we could create you a bigger pipe, so to speak, should you need it. So in other words, we can do some link aggregation on some of those ports,
Mm.
and then we can do the link aggregation on the other switch as well. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to eliminate all the different hops and switches and stuff in between you and getting out to the internet.
Yeah.
But we may not be able to do that right now.
Yeah.
But at least I can then isolate it out, and we can do a link aggregation. So instead of having a 1 gig pipe, you can have a 2 or a 4 gig pipe.
Okay.
Going to the switches and then out the door.
We can definitely entertain that. We'll start with what's easiest first, and then work our way up to where we need
Oh
it.
yeah.
So yeah.
Down the road, once things start moving and things kind of change a little bit, we get a little bit of revenue generated. Then we'll look at putting some 10 gig switches. That way you won't have to worry about this crap anymore.
For sure. Cool. Well, I appreciate you,
a
man.
gig is a lot.
Yeah.
Copper going out the door, and I don't think we've hit that mark yet, but we'll at least bump you up to a 2, and then that way, if you get a big project in there that needs more, it'll already be there for you.
Yeah, that'll be good. Cool.
And then that other room, if y'all want to kind of start getting rid of that other little small switch over there, I didn't want to unplug anything. I didn't know where y'all wanted to put it, how you wanted to organize things, but those are yours to keep in there to configure however you want, put them wherever you want. We can get you longer network cables in there so you can, run it around the couch and set it up that way. We're just trying to eliminate those little bitty switches from, because they're good, but when you start doing what you're wanting to do, they just can't hold the traffic.
Yeah. Cool.
All right.
Yes, sir, man. I appreciate you. This is gonna work.
I will be there first thing in the morning early.
Okay.
So yeah, if you need me for anything, and I'll be down there working on the Wi-Fi to make sure that's going to be wide open for this event, and we'll kind of get some of that stuff cleaned up a little bit better.
Okay.
And because they jump on the 810 network is what they use when they're down there, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll make sure that that's wide open today, and that way we'll have a head start on it. And
now
we'll move forward.
What we do know is the only folks that's coming into the office is our team and your team. So it's basically just me, Katie, Catherine, Stacy, Jodell,
Right.
Brian. But that's it. Like everyone else is going to be from home working and doing the stuff on the internet. So they're not even coming in using the rooms anymore. They just because they're scared of the snow. So I was like, okay, cool. But that may change. They may get up in the morning and be like, what might we'll go on in? So
well, we're gonna try to be ready for it. I'm going through the firewall now and stripping some of this stuff out, trying to just flatten it out even better.
Okay. Sounds good,
All right,
man.
guys.
I appreciate you.
Here, if you need me, Brian, I'm gonna start working on the other stuff with that fat pipe, trying to get that thing out of there.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, man. Take care.
All right, brother. Thank you.
So you gotta work.
Oh yeah. We plugged it back in and it went.
Must have to get a new IP address.
Probably.